Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So some of you will be joining live today, and some of you will be watching this later. So today what we're going to be doing, we're going to give people a few minutes to connect. And I'm going to do a little sound check before we start. Make sure that the volume of things are good. Good morning. How is the volume? All right, good. So today we're going to be doing a meditation, and we're also going to be doing breath work. And before we start, while everybody is getting a chance to connect in electronically, I wanted to discuss a subject today that I've been really heavily contemplating and talking about in different classes. And that's a subject called Shraddha. And Shraddha is the concept of faith. And when we take a look at our faith, especially when we're in troubled times, I'm not sure that I know anybody personally right now that's not having some sort of change, some type of going inward reevaluation. And I had recently written an article, talking about how there's a lot of mental health concerns right now of people being anxious, depressed, hopeless, confused, overwhelmed, exhausted, etc. And there's really no surprise to that. We've, never seen in our lifetimes the effect of COVID or this type of infectious disease process and all the different things that is coming along with it. And we've also not seen this type of social shifting within the last recent history. So there's a lot of changing and a lot of processes. And when we take a look at our process of faith, what is our faith? We have so many different forms of faith. Depends on how you were raised, depends on your family lineage, depends on your religion, it depends on what you believe as spirituality. But a lot of people right now have lost faith in government. They've lost faith in the social system. Some people have lost faith in humanity. We've seen the suicide rate go up. And we also see that some people are losing faith in the fact that we can create a more harmonious place to live with each other. So first of all, when we look at faith, we have to realize that faith in and of itself creates inspiration. It creates empowerment. If we lack faith, we lack that fuel to realize that we can make changes, that we can create in our minds, in our hearts, space for that allowance of things to change. Even if we're not able to change everything ourselves, we still have to have faith or Shraddha. And there's a lot of different ways we can enrich our own forms of faith. One is reading scriptures. So what were you raised reading? Does it still resonate with you? Go back to those inspiring writings. Go back to the, beautiful epic writings like the Bhagavad Gita or whatever it is that you were raised understanding. What gave you faith as a child? Did you have faith as a child? And unfortunately, sometimes faith is really stomped out by being jaded, by being conditioned to think it can't get better, or it's not going to get better without a fight. But really, when we take a look at the fight, where does that fight start? Where does the friction begin? The friction begins inside of us when we start changing. So we have to know how to kindle that change within ourselves. We have to be able to say, okay, I am uncomfortable. I am in a state of change. Because when there's change, forces change. Just like when we study Ayurveda. Let's say somebody has a elevated pitta within their system, and then they need to change that. They may have to have friction in saying, oh, I have to give up that food. They may have friction when they take a special herb that causes them to release that accumulation of pitta. But then afterwards, when we have faith in that process, we feel better. But what would happen if we lost faith on the way and we said, oh, well, I don't want to give this up, or I don't want to change what I'm doing because that's too uncomfortable. And no, I don't want to take that herb or that medicine because it doesn't taste good, or it causes me to go to the bathroom, and I don't like that. That resistance causes the change to not happen. But when we have faith that after a little bit of discomfort, we will find the result of that change that we're looking for, or at least making room and space for the potential of change, we have to have that faith. Without that faith, we don't allow change to potentially create itself. So what are other forms we find our faith in? How can we nourish and strengthen our faith? Well, we can do it through meditation. It doesn't have to just be scriptural writings or epic writings. We can renew our faith even through nature. We can renew our faith through music, inspiring works of art. We can, nourish our faith when we believe in the power of love and connection, and we reach out to each other and we say, I hear you. And before we go into meditation, there's another thing that I've really been chewing on heavily. And that is, why do some people have such a difficult time embracing what is currently happening? And it brought me to the topic of empathy. Empathy, when we see a fellow human, white, brown, black, whatever the shade is, whatever the sexuality, whatever the trauma is, why is it that some individuals, when somebody expresses pain, suffering, they press them away and they say, oh, well, blah, 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 fill in the blank. Maybe the person witnessing their suffering experiences their own form of discomfort. But we also need to take a look at the functioning of the pineal gland in individuals. So if you've taken lectures with me before, I've discussed the effect of things like fluoride and the effect of poor diets, as well as the effect of certain antidepressants that are prescription. And there's a lot of studies that indicate that it diminishes our ability to have empathy. And when we have empathy for each other, if one of my friends comes to me and says, I'm suffering, I have experienced trauma, my only responsibility is to listen, to hold space, and to say, I hear you. I hear you. And then if possible, maybe offer a helping hand if there's a solution to be made. Rather than when we hear about, let's take for instance a population segment who is suffering, and when we don't listen to that suffering, when we can't have empathy for that suffering because of greed, because of our own discomfort, because of our own fears of witnessing somebody else's suffering, what do? We say, stop that. Don't be upset. Don't do that. Why? Why do we do that? Why do we do that as humans? I don't think that it's natural when you come to a certain level of personal development. If my friend comes to me and says, I'm suffering, I say, I'm here to listen. I don't say, stop crying, stop acting out. Because if I do that, then they're never heard, they're never acknowledged. And then the next time they're having that difficulty, the expression of it gets louder. So I just want us to think about our relationship to faith. How are we nourishing our faith? But at the same time, that inward process can be nourished by reaching out and showing love and empathy for other people. No matter how uncomfortable listening to their story is, it doesn't mean that you're to blame. It doesn't mean that you have to eat all of their emotions. When we have faith and love and connection, I think that empathy is easier. We can just witness each other and then rise up to offer a helping hand. If my friend falls down and skins their knee, I say, oh, you're bleeding. Let me help you up. Do you need some bacterial on your knee? But when we see large segments of population suffering, we become fearful. And I'm seeing that we need to work on the combination of faith and empathy. So for our meditation today, I want us to really get clear on what our sankalpa is, what our intention is. And you can make it whatever you want it to be, but perhaps it will be surrounding the concept of faith or empathy, something in that vein. So just close your eyes for a minute, and we're not going to go into meditation yet, but just close your eyes for a moment. And whatever internal or external dialogues are going on, try to not be involved with them right now. And take all of your attention into your heart center where your soul is emanating. And try to set an intention. Really take a few moments. Sometimes I don't think we spend enough time setting intentions for our meditation. And I'd like you to create an intention, something that can help you nourish and cultivate faith and empathy. Just think about that for a moment. And if you could assign 1 to say 3 or 4 words to that intention, could you make it an affirmation? Let's make our intention an actual affirmation, one that we will say out loud or to ourselves during our meditation. So really take a moment for this. And start using different word combinations. What sounds right? And remember, you have to have faith in the affirmation. If you don't believe the affirmation, it's not going to have the same effect. Truly find an affirmation, a few words that create what it is that you want to embody surrounding faith and empathy. Now, say those few words of that intention to yourself. Maybe even say them out loud. And ask yourself, do you believe that affirmation? Do you need to tweak a word? Many times my affirmations will say things like, I give myself permission to, or I believe that, or I am. But make sure you believe the affirmation, that you truly have faith in it. Now let's go ahead and hold that affirmation at the heart center. And sit up nice and tall. Elongate your spine, but let it be comfortable. Let it be at ease. See if you can elongate a little bit more in your neck without straining. Let's begin to visualize a warm, nourishing light from up above, radiating down to the tops of our heads. I like to envision it like my soul is shining really bright right onto me. You know, because we're in body form and we tend to forget that the soul is not only in the heart, but it's radiating so brilliantly down to us. We just have to let it in more. We got to open it up. So visualize that source of light, that source of life and prana, just shining down onto you like the morning sun has risen over your head. And let it move down across your scalp, softening the muscles around your eyebrows, relaxing the muscles of your scalp. Check in with your jaw. Check that you're not clenching the jaw at all. Maybe open and close your mouth a couple times. Check in with your tongue. It's often that we have a tense tongue. So let the back molars have just a little space. And let the whole tongue relax in the mouth. Let it relax all the way down into the base of the tongue. Even the portion of the tongue that goes down the throat. And let that source of light and prana create an opening, a relaxation in the physical body, all the way down the throat, the front and back muscles. Maybe turn your head side to side a couple times, or up and down a couple times. And let that relaxation move down across the shoulders, into the shoulder joints, down through your arms, into your hands. Maybe open and close your hands a couple times. And then decide what you would like to do with your hands. Perhaps you want to place your thumb and index finger together with your palms facing up on your legs in Jnana Mudra. Do what is natural and comfortable for you. Let that softness, that source of life, awareness in your own consciousness allow a softening in through your belly. See if you could just relax your tummy. And then let all of that life energy create more relaxation all the way down your legs, into the feet. And then visualize a strong energy emanating from you. Some people see it in the form of roots or water, a cord. Just visualize it like a continuation of that light source above you, radiating now through you and then down into the earth, connecting you to that earth chakra, that hugging that the mother gives us. Feel the gravity of the mother hugging you to this earth. because this is where the physical body will remain on this earth. Now begin bringing your attention to your breath. Observe your breath. Witness without altering. Just witness your inhale and your exhale. See if you can lengthen the inhale and exhale without feeling overly manipulative of it. Just see if you can receive a little bit more in-breath, softening the tummy. And see if you can let go of a little more out-breath. Might draw your tummy in just a little bit to press the diaphragm. And let's sit and just allow the body to be breathed for a few minutes. And during this process, I'd like you to explore the sound of your breath, the temperature of your breath, the space in between the in and the out. And during these few minutes, I'd like you to explore your breath as if it is not you breathing, but your soul breathing into your physical envelope. Just explore that. And if thoughts arise, your mind says, blah, 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 blah. Just say, distraction. And try to really keep your concentration just on your breath. And don't be upset if there's a distraction. Just say, oopsie, and come back to thinking only about your breath. And we'll do this for a solid 5 minutes. So I want you to really sink into the deliciousness of this process of pranayama and see where exploring your breath takes you. But stay with the breath. Don't go anywhere else. And let's begin. And finish 5 more inhales and exhales. Really sink into it at the very end, like a deliciousness of breath. Last one. And just take a few moments to observe any shifts in your physical body that occurred during that 5 minutes of breath practice. Through the process of breath work, yogasana, meditation, the mind may signal to you things that are in your subconscious or front consciousness that is asking for resolution. So if there were mental distractions during that process, be gracious to it and say, maybe like a friend, I'll listen to that later. But not right now. Let those thoughts continue to drift off. And if your physical body tried to get your attention, sending signs and signals during that 5 minutes of breath work, be a friend to it later on and address it. And make adjustments right now if you need to. We'll move into a deeper type of breath meditation called Brahmari. Brahmari is a humming meditation technique. So what we do during this technique is we place our hands gently over our ears and we do a very gentle hum, not a big hum, not a fancy hum, just a hum. It's like a personalized sonic rebalancing. So just as I encourage to find the deliciousness in the breath, I encourage you to find a deliciousness in the sound of your hum. And sometimes the hands get fatigued, the arms get fatigued. So leave your elbows at your sides. And this will be a 5-minute practice also. So just let your hands be relaxed and cover your ears very gently. You don't have to put your fingers in your ears. And during this process, you'll try to keep all of your focus only on listening to and feeling the effects of the vibration of your hum. You can even make it an om if you would like. If you don't like the tone, that's okay. Nobody hears it, just you. Just let it be your own vibration that begins to quiet the mind and reset yourself. So let's go ahead and place our hands over our ears, and this will be a 5-minute practice. I'll keep track of the time. At the end, I'll ring a bell. Go ahead and plug your ears, and we'll begin. And now just take a few moments and relax the face. Let that original relaxation move through the jaw, the tongue, the throat, the chest, shoulders. Let that relaxation just let your body completely surrender to the moment. Bring all of your attention to the breath again. Breathe however your soul wants to breathe into you. Allow the physical envelope in the mind to relax. Now really draw your concentration just to your forehead, as if your eyes were open and you were looking at a source of light right in front of your forehead, in between your eyebrows, maybe 3 to 6 inches in front of you. And start visualizing that light. Imagine that light right in front of your eyebrows, about 3 to 6 inches out. And hold your concentration here. If the mind wanders or the eyes wander, bring it back. But relax the eyes at the same time. And come to that affirmation that you set for yourself at the beginning of class. Recall that. Keep the attention at the third eye, directly in front of you as well. Like you're aiming all of your consciousness and awareness at that light in front of your third eye. And retrieve that intention. Adjust it if necessary. And begin repeating your affirmation silently or out loud, while keeping all of your concentration firmly yet relaxed, fixed, concentrated on the third eye, and sending your awareness to that source of light about 6 inches in front of your eyebrows. And begin repeating your affirmation. We'll do this for 5 minutes. Now just draw your awareness to the sounds around you. Let the eyes soften in their gaze inside your mind's eye as well. And I'd like to take this opportunity to think of, to contemplate, to experience empathy in the form of simply awareness. As we talked about earlier, sometimes when we see suffering, it causes so much calamity inside of us or others. But let's for a moment think about empathy in the form of simply witnessing without having to have mental commotion, emotional commotion about it. Doesn't mean that there won't be an action that results in the witnessing. So just take a friend into your mind's eye right now. Just a friend. Somebody who is maybe struggling. Whatever that friend is struggling with. Bring them into your mind's eye. Invite them to have a seat in front of you. Imagine them just sitting right in front of you. And imagine them coming to you with their troubles. The troubles that they're currently having in life. And imagine the process of simply saying no words, which would make some people uncomfortable, but that's okay for the sake of this practice. Visualize yourself just able to look at them, nod to them, smile, or just a neutral, peaceful expression, one of acceptance, one of compassion and understanding. But while we do this, imagine that light source from your forehead, that light source from your heart center, that light source shining down onto the top of your head. Imagine while they sit in front of you and unpack all of their problems, that you're simply witnessing them and filling them with your awareness in the form of light. Imagine all that light that we worked with earlier, radiating to them as if they had a cup that had been emptied, spilt, or even broken. And maybe just imagine all that light moving to that cup of their heart, filling their heart with just an awareness, an acceptance, and witnessing. So let's do that for a few moments. And when you do it, see if you can take in some of those delicious breaths and see what sensations of bliss may radiate through you as you simply offer awareness and witnessing of your friend's troubles in front of you in your mind's eye. Let's do that for a few moments, a few minutes. Sink into it. And imagine just filling them with empathy, awareness, but light. Let them unpack all their troubles. All you need to do is give them that awareness. Visualize them becoming aware of your awareness. Visualize them becoming comforted and silent and still in front of you. Visualize them becoming relieved of the commotion of their suffering. Keep taking a few breaths in and out, and direct your consciousness in that form of light from your heart center, that third eye, forehead region. It's a never-ending source shining down onto you. Visualize that awareness moving to them, creating peace in them, creating resolution, creating comfort, because somebody has witnessed them without judgment. And smile at them now. Visualize them able to smile now. And visualize them now standing up and moving away, walking away with less suffering, more resolution, and bringing your mind's eye back to yourself. And just take a moment to ask yourself, what has been your primary struggle in the last day, hour, or week? And without becoming involved in any of the commotion, bring it in front of your mind's eye, back to that place where we were when we were concentrating on the mantra, the affirmation you made for yourself. And visualize yourself, if you've had commotion and stress, right in front of your mind's eye. Maybe sitting in a chair in front of you, just as your friend was. And visualize what it is you look like, how you breathe, how you feel, what vibrations are emanating from you during that discomfort, that when you're in commotion, as if you're witnessing your friend again. And just give it awareness. Visualize somebody else doing the same thing for you, or yourself doing it for yourself. And radiate that awareness, that light, from your heart center, your forehead, to yourself in front of you. That version of you that may have been in commotion recently, and without interacting in the commotion. Just offer that empathy, that compassion, that understanding, that witnessing. Unconditional witnessing. No judgment, no reaction, no taking on of it. And take a few breaths in and out. Strengthening that witnessing. And begin to visualize yourself coming into complete peace on the inside and outside. The portion of you that has had recent struggle, and the witnesser, that part of you that is witnessing it. And visualize any portion of you that has been struggling, relaxing, fully witnessed, fully heard, in complete empathy and compassion. Shifting to an inner and outer smile on your face. A calmness in the heart, a calmness in the mind, a calmness of the body, and breath. And just bring all your attention back to your breath. And imagine it is not you breathing. The you, the mind, the I, the ego. But that it is the soul, the source, breathing your physical envelope. Now bring your hands together and rub them. Shift your attention to the sensation of your physical body. Again, the movement of your arms, the friction of your hands. Take a couple big sighs in and out. Place your hands over your eyes. Remember your affirmation. Say it silently once to yourself. Take a full breath in and out. And open your eyes, gently moving your hands away from your eyes. So I invite you to hold your intention today. I invite you to check in with your breath every hour. And is it any commotion of the mind breathing you? Or are you letting your soul breathe into you? Letting your soul breathe you. Really allow yourself to embody your soul even more when you start having the mind say, yakety, 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 yak, 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 yak. Just witness yourself if you can, like we did in the meditation today. Not always easy. See if you can relax the body a little bit more. See if you can relax the breath a little bit more. And let the soul witness what is happening. rather than the mind, which has thousands of coulds and shoulds and woulds attached, which causes so much commotion. I could do this, I should do this, I would do that. I could have done that, I should have done this, I would have done that. That's going to cause constriction. Let yourself be even more embodied today, little by little, breath by breath, witnessing by witnessing. And when your friends, your community, your family come to you, or you witness them even on social media saying, just witness them. Radiate awareness to them, hands open. You don't have to be involved to witness. We witness first. I say, what? You fell, you hurt your knee. I see you. I see you. I see your pain. I see your bleeding. And you just witness first. And then you say, do you need my help? And how can I assist? And remember, don't bring a spoon to a job that needs a hammer. You are a very specific instrument. You might be a Phillips head screwdriver. You might be a flathead screwdriver. You might be a hammer. You might be a spatula. You might be a chainsaw. You are a unique tool. Remember that. And if your friend needs a screwdriver, don't try to be a screwdriver if you're a chainsaw. Find them a screwdriver. We can't solve everybody's problems because we're all different emanations. And if I'm a spoon and you need a knife, I'll say, Natalie, do you have a knife? Your knife. Okay, could you come assist with this knife? And then if Alyssa says, well, I need a chainsaw today, I'll say, I'm a chainsaw. I can help with that. So remember that we can't fix everybody's problems single-handedly, but we can witness them and have empathy for them single-handedly. And when we have empathy, when somebody feels fully heard and listened, it restores their faith. But we want to know where our faith is too. So spend extra time nourishing your faith. Music, dance, maybe yogasana, maybe meditation, maybe a movie that always moved you and inspired you, maybe a book, literature, scriptures, Bible, whatever it is that you resonate with. Maybe it's community, maybe it's friends, maybe it's a pet. Who knows? Nature. Eat it up. Enjoy it. And I hope you all have a peacefuler day. Peacefuler, you know? And if it starts getting unpeaceful, breathe into it. Relax into it. If there's no need for an immediate fight or flight, don't go to fight and flight. That's just going to jack your nervous system. It's going to weaken your vagus nerve. It's going to alarm your sympathetic nervous system. You're going to be pumping and cranking epinephrine and cortisol. And if there's no need in this exact moment to fight or flight, don't. Witness it and ask, do I need a spoon, a screwdriver, or a chainsaw? Maybe none of the above. Maybe I just need to have empathy and witness, and that's all. Without becoming involved. If my friend skins their knee, I don't start screaming with them. They fall down, and I go like this, That's not empathy. That's like, I don't know, mirroring what they're doing. So remember, we don't have to mirror what people are doing either. We just send all of our awareness to them. And we say, I see you. I feel you. Unconditionally. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Namaste.